Honestly, honestly, you will. It's important that you do. So that was for free. Let me start. Let me start on what I'm going to talk about today. What I want to speak about is the principle of connection. Okay, connection, which is very important in church life because, as John Maxwell says, many communicate, but few actually connect. We spending, people will talk to each other, but they don't actually connect with each other. Now, a connection, if you look at a definition of the word, is a relationship between two people. Very simple. But if you look at the relationship, it says the definition of a relationship is a close connection demonstrated by the way in which two people behave towards each other. And I've been around church all my life. I've got saved at 17. If you want to know, I'm 52. So I've been around for 35 years in church. And you can go to church week after week after week and not have a connection with half the people there. In fact, more than half the people, the majority of people. Because we turn up, we do our thing, and we leave. We turn up, we do our thing, and we leave. And there isn't always that connection. We communicate all the time. We communicate by the way we look, speak, act, behave. But we don't have that connection with people. And the older I get, the more I realise that connecting with people is vital. It's vital. Having those relationships with people, men and women, young and old, are important. Why? Because I believe, for example, trust is the foundation of all leadership. And the way we learn to trust even people. When it comes to leadership, we can't take any shortcuts. No matter how long we've been leading people look to leaders in three areas. Leaders, they want to see whether we are competent. Do we know what we're doing? What is our character like? How do we behave when nobody's looking at us? And do we connect with them? Do we take time to be with people? Do we take time to be with people? We all make mistakes. There's no one person that's perfect in this room. And people can be very forgiving. But when trust is lost between two people because of a character flaw, quite often the relationship is ended. Unless you regain their trust one more time. There's a guy called Craig. People will tolerate honest mistakes, but if you violate their trust, you will find it difficult to regain their confidence. As leaders, our character will make trust possible. If I walk into a church and I don't trust the leader, I'm gone. Simple as that. How can you follow somebody that you don't trust? In relationships, why do men and women split up and get divorced? Because somewhere along the line, quite often, the trust between them is broken. And it takes, if you do any marriage counselling, then you have to try and repair the trust between husband and wife. It takes a long time. It's not something that is easily resolved. Your character communicates the following to follows. Okay? The first thing it will communicate is, are you consistent as a leader? I think you've really got, I think of one key, you both with leaders, both gone to be with Jesus, but they were both in the ministry for over 50 years. That speaks to me of people who were consistent. And if you look at their life and the way they conducted themselves, they're good and godly values day in and day out. I'd say the other thing that's consistent about some Christians is that we're inconsistent. Yeah? I told you, for those who were here last time, I told you about that guy who took me to Nigeria, didn't I? unless we said it takes me 9 o'clock in the morning. He came to me 1 o'clock. I said he's part of our church. Do you want to hear a story? Fuel the fire at my church last night. My wife's doing it. They'd done the service. New people had come. They'd done the thing. Everything was great. They were locking up to go home. Then locked up. We have to lock the car park so that they were able to use it. So, locking the car park, and as you lock the car park, a car turned up. And I guess he was in the car. Right. 2 hours after the service started, everybody was just going home. My mate turns up. The same guy who was 4 hours late in picking me up. The only thing that's him is his inconsistency.
But that's an improvement.
Well, that is an improvement. That is true. He could have turned up this morning. In fact, he was early for church. That's the improvement. He was early for church. People, we've got to, as leaders, we've got to be consistent. We've got to be the people that people look to be dependable, reliable. It's important. There's some doctors here. You're a doctor. Who's a doctor? There's a doctor. Is he today? Some others. I know there's a GP. There's a GP here. Right. So you go for an appointment with the gentleman who's the doctor, and he decides that he's going out for coffee. Your appointment's at 10 o'clock, and he swans into the surgery 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Would you be happy?
No.
No. Why? He's late. Why? How does that make you feel? Not valued. Not important. And Christian leaders think that we can be inconsistent, unreliable, undependable, and we wonder why the world looks at the church and leaders as being down here, unimportant. Is that true? Some of us, I'm sure we've got of us here, are just consistently moody. I don't look at anybody because you might think I'm talking about you. There's a guy, John Morley says, no man can climb beyond the limitations of his own character. No one can climb, no man, no woman can climb beyond the limitations of his own character. When we're consistent, when we're dependable, when we are reliable, people respect you. People will respect you. And you know, we can't demand. I know a pastor, I won't quite call him a friend, but I know an acquaintance, and he walked up to me one day and he was talking about his church. And he gets in my face with his finger, saying that these people told them they need to respect me. And I'm thinking, mate, if you come in my face wagging your finger, nobody's going to respect you. Because you don't tell people to respect you. You earn their respect.
Yeah.
And how do you earn their respect? By having a good, godly character. One of those people who's reliable, dependable, turns up when they need to turn up. When your pastor asks you to do something, you do it. There's certain people I know I won't ask to do anything, because I know it won't get done. So there's no point in asking. But there's other people I know that they're reliable, so I'll ask them. It's no different in the church to our secular work. There's people in your office that you know are dependable and reliable. If something needs to get done, they're going to do it. And you know there's certain things, if it needs to get done, no one asking him, because he's not going to do it. Or if you need it done by 5 o'clock tonight, you'll get it by 5 o'clock, 3 days time. They don't do reliable, they're not consistent. Reliable, they're not consistent. Respect and trust enable you to connect with people. As I said, we communicate every day through our words, our voice tone, our attitude, our behaviour, our body language, the way we dress. But do we make a connection with the people we lead? Connecting with people takes time. I remember going to a church, Dominic, they come here, if you would. Shake my hand, and as you shake my hand, say hello. Okay? So Dominic, Pastor Dominic is me. And I will show you how a pastor greeted me some years ago. Okay? You shake my hand, say hello. Greet me, okay? Hello. Hello. Now, how does that make you feel? If I shake your hand, I'm not look at you. There's no connection. What was he doing? He was more concerned. He was more concerned with looking to talk to somebody else than he was about speaking to the person that was directly in front of him. Awful. Awful, 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 awful. That doesn't value you as a person, does it? There's no connection with you. And I think to myself, I'm pretty quick to make a decision. You do that to me, goodbye. I ain't talking to you again. Job done. If you're not even going to look at me and look me in the eye and say, morning, how you doing? Great to see you. I'm looking at you. You've lost me straight away. It's important to make people feel valued. And one of the ways we make people feel valued is by saying hello and looking at them. Looking at them in the eye and saying hello. When my wife and I first got married, back in 1994, we were asked to lead a home group in my father-in-law's church. And we'd never done it before, we had no idea what we were doing. But look, my wife's 18, don't forget. We're young, we haven't got a clue. We're the last thing. And he said to us, here's a list of names from the church. You should go to your group, but have never been to a home group in their life. There we go. I'm like, so what am I supposed to do with that then? That was my thought. What am I supposed to do with that then? Well, you've asked us to lead a group. No one comes to it. Oh, that's good. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? It's going to be really nice. Me and my wife are going to be there. Hello. So I looked down the list and thought, what shall I do? So I found every single one of them up and just said, they knew who we were, because they were in the church, so I phoned them up, spoke to them. If we can help you, if we can do anything to help you, please let us know. By the way, we meet at 7:30 Wednesday night. And this address if you want to come. Wednesday comes, no one turns up. Thursday morning, I phone them all up. Oh, so sad that we didn't see you last month. Hope you're okay. Don't forget, if we can help you, if there's anything we can do to help you, please let us know. And by the way, we meet again next Wednesday. Within 3 months, we have 45 people in the whole group. Why? Now, I'm not saying that because we're any good, because I told you we didn't know what we were doing. Yeah, we're not this. We just had it go. But what does that show me? I went out of my way to phone people up, to connect with them, to ask how they were, what can I do to help you? And I reminded them about the group. I made them feel important. I valued them. And you know what? They all started to come. Guys, and my father-in-law said, how did you do that? These people have never been to a group, a midweek meeting in 5, 10 years of being in the church. And I said, well, all I did was phone them all and try and make a connection with them. That was it. We want to grow a church. Make connections with people. Make people feel valued. So we planted a new church. Okay? I'll put the flyer up. If you see on Facebook, search me, you'll see all sorts of social media waffle that is on Facebook and Twitter and all these. So then I will start to message people. People that I knew. Oh, we got a church. Got a church. Do a church. We've got 50 people in the church. 45 of them, 50, somewhere around there, are people who stopped going to church years ago. Even this is true, that's my wife, they've been in the church, they've come to us, and they've stood there crying. I've never had so many people crying at me in all my life. I thought it was because I was so bad. But they were crying because they said, we're feeling home here. We feel special. You made us feel important. What does that tell? We valued them. I sought to make a connection with them. Then they've come. See, if you ignore people when they come to church, they're not going to come back. That sounds so simple and so basic. Well, I've told, you can ask the team that I've got. I've said to everybody, when people walk through that door, you greet everybody. You smile at everybody. You don't look at someone, smack you around the head. Smile at them. Greet them. Welcome them. At the end of the service, we invite them back for the following week. We invite them to meetings. We offer to pray for them. What can we do to help you? That is what we do every service, at the beginning and at the end of the service. Why? It makes people feel valued. And then they want to come back. Well, it's not, they're nice though. And there's people say, I felt dead on the inside. I haven't been to church for 3 years, 4 years. And they've come back next week. And they've come back again. And they've come back again. They said, I know there's something different. Because we make people feel valued. We seek, as leaders, to connect with people. You know, it says that we can go, this is paraphrased, we can go 1 mile on our own, or we can go 10 miles together with somebody else. In other words, when there's a group of us, we can achieve more than when we're just on our own. How do we do that? We've got to connect with people. You know, people say of me, and why I like this connection so much is, when I've done things with people, people always say about me that I'm a connector. That I will look to connect with people all over the place. No matter where I go, I'm going to know somebody. That's just the way it is. Because I always want to connect with people. 99.9% of the time I remember the person's name. Again, which makes people feel valued. The pastor came to me and said, do you remember everybody's name in your church? I'm thinking, you serious? You'll talk to them. And that's pretty, you know, we ain't a young child with like 1 million people in the church. Don't talk to them. Find out their name. And remember their name. Just remember it. Get me? Remember the name. Oh, I said, if you remember the people's names, I must just again, remember their names. You're going to like the person. You're going to feel more valuable. When we were looking for a primary school for my 3 daughters, we went to one primary school and we turned up to meet the head. There he was, sat in his chair, feet on my desk, drinking a cup of coffee. Forgot that we were getting to long. Okay? I ain't coming to you, mate. If that's the way you want, we're coming. We went to another school. I phoned up, spoke to, I presume, the secretary, said, can we make an appointment to explain the situation? Come to see the head. I turned up with my daughters in reception, and this lady walked up. I didn't know who she was. And she just looked at me and says, oh, Mr. Paul, you must be Nina, you must be Danielle, you must be Zoe. So I thought, look at her. She was the head of the school. And the first thing she did when she walked into reception was, hello, Mr. Paul, you must be Nina, Danielle. She got everybody's name. Now, whether she looked at it on a card before she walked out into the reception, I ain't bothered. But she wasn't sat in a chair with her feet on her desk drinking a cup of coffee. And that spoke to me of a woman who valued people. So you have an appointment with one of your people in church, and you turn up late. So I said to you this morning, oh, you're early. I'm never late. Never. Why am I never late? Because I value the people who I'm going to see. So I turned up early. I was the first one here, by the way. When I turned up this morning, about 20 seconds and you pulled the next to me, I'd already been gone to say this put some petrol in and come back. I'd already been here once. Okay. No, I'm not saying that for anything other than I value what I'm doing and I value the people. So I'll turn up early. I'm not going to turn up late. I don't do that. Unless Jesus comes back. Then he can forgive me. Because we'll be gone together. But connecting with people comes in many, many forms. And you know, it says leadership is influence. How can you influence people? How much more, sorry, can we influence people if we connect with them? Yeah. As a pastor, when there's little children, I'll always go, take the baby. Always. Give me the baby, I'll hold the baby. I wouldn't care. I'd hold the baby, preach holding the baby. It wouldn't bother me. Okay, some people get really like, you can't do that. You know, God will get upset. You know, I would have no problem holding your baby. I would. Because to me, I'm connecting with the baby. I'm showing you that I value you as a person and I'm willing to help you as a person. That's what I do. It's what you do. To connect with people requires a lot of patience. Yeah? To connect with people, and this might sound too simple, you have to be friendly. I'll have Christian churches that are not friendly. Now you might think that's impossible, but it's true. To be friendly means you focus on the other person more than you focus on yourself. Be intentional with where we put our energy. So I was sitting in my car, thinking, oh, I'm shattered. Let me sleep. And I was walking to a group of people and think, okay, never, I can't walk around all tired. Now I've got to connect to these people. They are looking to me. So I will go and I'll connect with them. Hi. It's what we've got to do as leaders. Not just in church, in family, in business. An old friend of mine, the first church, Baptist church, that I got saved in, the young man who took on the church, Mark. I watched him as a 17-year-old. I was 17, he was probably early 20s. Every church meeting that we were in, every single one, he would walk around and greet everybody and shake their hand. Every single person. And I used to watch him do that. He'd walk in, if there was a meeting at somebody's house, he'd walk in, as he walked in, he'd go around, hi, shake everybody's hand, greet them, say hello, how you doing? Every single person. Some people I watch over the years, they just walk and sit there and expect everybody to come and talk to them. I am the pastor. You serve me. But that's not what I think. I make the lots of happen. I'm not here for you to serve me. I'm here to serve you. The church that I used to be part of, the pastor there, you'd have to make him a drink, a coffee, always. You'd have to serve him. You'd have to fetch him food, you'd have to fetch him a drink, you'd have to fetch. Now, I appreciate culture. This right here is, I've got to do this for the man of God. I appreciate the respect and the honour. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you now sat there demanding everybody fetch me a coffee. That's what he used to do. Well, I was his assistant. I was the number 2 in the church. Okay? You can imagine how that went down. I wouldn't. Okay? Yeah. I wouldn't do it. Fetch me a coffee. So I would go back. I'll have one too. I was naughty. It was a long time ago. I was naughty. And he used to get really angry with me. And I'm like, I have no problem serving people. And I'll fetch anything you drink. It doesn't bother me. I'll tell you another story in a moment which will make you cry. But I'm not going to be sat there as a pastor or somebody demanding that you do this because I am self-important. I am here to serve you, to connect with you. That's my job. Even if you never did a thing for me or to me. And that's what we've got to do, be careful. I was in South Africa, and I was part of the worship team in Barnet College. And the social event that we had was different races, different colours. And there was a couple there, Titus and Hilda, never forget this couple, from Zambia. And they were, Hilda had worked for the Girls Brigade, the Boys Brigade in the UK. If you look at that, I say that because speaks of there's a plaque there about the Boys Brigade. And we're in social, and there was some cake on the table, they were a beautiful couple. Titus Hilda from Zambia. The sweetest couple you'd ever know. And I'm just a guy from England. Okay, I was in my 20s, and I picked up a plate, and there was cake on it. And I went to Hilda, and I offered her some cake. I offered her the cake, and she looked at me and started to cry. And I'm like, well, what have I done? What have I done? Me, you're the first white man to ever serve me in my life. But I was shocked. I cried. She cried and walked away. I cried. I had to be careful. And I'm like, what do you mean the 60s here? I know. You're the first white man to ever serve me. It's normally my place to pick up the cake and serve you. And I tell you, God, I use that illustration all the time. Not to boast, but just to make the point of our job is to serve people. No matter who they are, where they're from, what background they have. Our job is to bring Christ to them and value people. And in that case, with Hilda, it made a massive difference. I was shocked. I really was shocked. Well, I'm glad I did it. Back in 1995, I think it was. I was really pleased that I did it. Because it made a massive impact on her, massive impact on me. And it taught me the fact, when Jesus says that he came not to be served, but to serve. And yet so many lead. Maturity is the ability to put aside our own agenda in order to connect with the other person. Maturity is the ability to put aside your own agenda in order to connect with the other person. We have bad days, we have good days, and we'll come into church, for example, we'll go to work, and sometimes you just rather not be there. If you've got to be honest, I'm tired, I've got so much other things I need to do. Well, what maturity says to me, put aside that agenda and value people and connect with people. Church, we're in the people business of it. Church is for people, we are in the people business. Because it's not only we're here, it's no good saying we've got a church. We're only here. Yeah, we're in the people business. And I think sometimes our church's back door is bigger than the front door, if you understand what I mean. More people leave church than actually come into church. So wouldn't it be interesting that if we close the back door so that people didn't believe how big our churches would become? And quite often, one of the ways to close the back door is to value people. Value people. Show them that they're special. Show them that they're important. Spend time with them. Talk with them. Ask them questions about who they are, what they do, I regularly phone my team. I'll text them, I'll phone them, and I'll say to them, how you doing, how's your day, how's your family, what you're up to. And I did this with one guy who was new to the team, Richard. And I texted him, great that you're part of what we do with Richard and all this stuff. 20 minutes later, he phoned me. He said, I've never had a text like that before. This was only 3 weeks ago. I've never had a text like that before. What do you mean? I said, hasn't your previous pastor done that? He said, no. He said, he texts me when he tells me off. But he's never texted me to say that he values me and he's pleased to have a part of what God's doing. But I thought, ain't that interesting? That we're so quick to criticise or to tell people off, but we're so slow to encourage and value and build people up. Yeah? Yeah. Thank you. 3 questions that people are always asking in their mind, even though they may not say verbally to you. The first one is, do you care about me? If they turn up in this church, the question they will say is, do you care about me? Do you really want me here? Abraham Lincoln, President of the USA, said, if you win a man to your cause, first convince him that you are his sincere friend. develop people and connect with people. You know, when there were people that joined our church because of me. And there's no other way of saying it. Why? Because I like the guy. He makes me valued. I connect with him. We have a laugh. They actually say to me, your biggest gift is at the mall. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Because it's like the supernatural child of God. And they say to me, you're normal. I take that as a compliment because I know what I mean. I know what I mean. Because I'll do this now every 5 minutes. I'll talk about the rugby, the football, and you know, I mean, I'll talk about it, everything. Whatever I have to talk about to connect with you is what I'll talk about. So they want to know, do you care about me? But then they will always want to know, yeah, can you help me? Can this church, can you as a leader help me? I went to Uganda some years ago, and we got a pastor's event. About 800 pastors came, and I was the man of God speaking. So I turned up into this building, effort of a building, and they're quite tall. Well, they got this frame of a building. Anyway, they'd hired some white chairs, and they came on the back of the lorry because they'd only got not many more than what you got in the building. So they hired a load of white chairs that came on the back of the truck. There was Uganda, it's very dry, there's dust everywhere. So when they turned up, they're filthy, they're dirty. So all these guys start to take them off the wagon and start to clean them. Well, it was back in the day when I wore my suit. I haven't worn a suit for a long time. But it was in the day when I was teaching in the conference, and I got a shirt and tie on, or suit on. And they wanted, oh my God, sit there, can we get to a drink? Oh, watching all these Ugandan men honking these chairs off the backs, then they're dusting them and washing them and starting to dry them and then lay them out in rows. And I'm like, hey, just gonna sit here, let them do that. Off comes me jacket, off comes my tie, off my sleeves up, and I go over to them, and I start taking them off the back of the wagon. And I then start to wash them, and I dry them, and I start helping the guys arrange the chairs. Well, they're looking at me a bit weird. But I thought, oh, you know, I just came up, I'm helping. The conference finished, and the pastor and his wife, and one of the leaders, they always like to do like a D after the conference. Well, I've been there a few times now. But they came to me and they said, you know, the one thing that cemented you coming here, and what made us pleased that you were here, was the very first morning when you rolled your sleeves up and helped the guys get the chairs off the back of the lobby. That made us want to listen to you. Because when we've had visited speakers from America and other places, they never do that. They just sit there full of their own importance. Not one of them has ever come and helped us clean chairs and put the chairs out. You're the first person to do it. And I said, well, you know what I'm doing, don't you? I said, because while I'm doing it, I'm getting to know your leaders. I'm talking to your leaders, so I'm having a bit of a laugh and a joke and putting the chairs out. I'm connecting with your team. As soon as I'm connected with your team realise that I'm normal and they want to listen to me. So yeah, I'm helping you, but I'm doing it because I want to connect with you guys to make sure you guys listen. But he said that's more to him than all my entire 3 days that I was there. Just because I was willing to roll my sleeves up and help them put the chairs out. What do we have to do to help people in order to connect with them? That's my point. And finally, the thing that they always want to know when it comes to connecting with them is, can I really trust you? Because you know, if you look at the list of the most trusted or the least trusted individual, the second-hand car salesman that none of us ever believe and trust when they come to sell a car is classed as more trustworthy than a pastor. I'm talking England now. So everyone thinks that, you know, a double second-hand car salesman, he's that sort of, they're all crooks. They all want to try and sell a car for more than they should. And yet they're rated more highly than a pastor in the church. What does that tell me? People don't trust the church. So we've got to connect with people. Yeah? Trust is more important than love. That's an interesting one. Trust is more important than love. I've heard husbands and wives say, I still love them. I love him or love her, but I don't trust them anymore. And then they want to get divorced. How can you still love someone and want to get divorced? It's because they don't trust them. Trust is more important than love. If they come here and they trust you, not to gossip, not to criticize, not to lie, not to exaggerate, you say you're going to do. I was going to say, really, this is I was announced to Charles and going to the prayer meeting last night. So, you missed the joke. What time do you want me to finish? What was the time? So, 20.
If we get off long about before about 12.
Yeah, so you want me to do by 12? That 42, 12? Which one? 42 or 12? I think it's the one. 42. Okay. If you want to connect with people, I'll just say this to that people really. If you want to connect with people, your communication goes beyond sense, beyond visual, beyond intellect, beyond emotional, beyond verbal. We remember 85 to 90% of what we see, but we remember less than 50% of what we hear. So in other words, we must support our words with our actions. The older I get, the less I am interested in what somebody says to me, the more I'm interested in what they do. Because we say all manner of things, but we do something different. Yeah, but you're so important, you're so important, you're so important, and then you never see them again. We had one lady with the church, she kept saying to me, I'm there, I'll be there Sunday, I'll be there Sunday. Oh, she's so excited, I'll be there Sunday. Oh, she never turned up. I'll be there Sunday, I'll be there Sunday, sorry, Sunday, I'll be there, I will be there Sunday. She didn't turn up. No, to me, from the third week, and she says, I'll be there Sunday, my mind says, no, you aren't. You say one thing, but you do something else. We can't be like that as Christian leaders. Our word has got to be truth. If I say I'll be there at 8 o'clock, I'll be there at 8 o'clock. I would rather you say to me, I'll be there at 8:30. And tell me that you'll be there at 8:30. Then say I'll be there at 8, and then turn up at 8:30. Do you get what understand what I'm saying? I'd rather you say to me, I'm going to be late, I'll be there at 8:30. Then say to me, I'll be there at 8, because that's what you think I want to hear, and then you turn up late anyway. I'd rather know, I said I'm going to be at 8:30, because he said you're going to be late. That's fine, no problem. I can handle that, because I know that what you say is what you're going to do. First impressions count. First impressions count as leaders, as people, as a church. What do people see when they come into this church? What do they see when they come into this family of people? What's their impression? They say, psychologists say it takes 7 seconds for a person to make an impression on somebody. 7 seconds. So within 7 seconds of somebody walking through that door downstairs, you've got 7 seconds to make a positive impression on them as a church. What are you going to do to have an impact on it? Now, if you're looking to buy and build a bigger facility, your own facility, how are you going to fit? Because you can say, well, we're just going to pray. Well, I'm pleased, I'm pleased for you. Well, there's some practical things, like connecting with people, talking to people. Yeah? It's important. In those 7 seconds, we've got to eliminate distraction for people. We've got to be careful of our expression of what people see. You know, my wife tells me, you know, when you said you ask your wife for your weaknesses, I think we should make a cue so we can all be good at it. No, okay. When you ask my wife will tell you, Keith, you've got a grumpy face. That's what she says to me. Very nice, my wife did that. Your face is grumpy, you look moody. Do I? Yeah, you do. They said smile. They said it looks like you're angry all the time. Okay? That's just, you know, it's just my face. You know what I mean? And I go, God, you know, that's the face again. They said smile. So if you look here, right? Look at my nose. What's that word say? Smile. And I would just go, you know, that's been on front. Smile. Because I know that if I don't, my face gets serious. And it looks like I'm telling you off all the time, but I'm not. You know, my daughter says, Dad, you look angry, what's wrong? I'm like, no, I'm fine, I'm happy. Well, your face looks angry. No, I'm fine. It says, oh, smile then. My daughter says that to me. Smile. First impressions count. When you walk through that door, who greets people? Does anybody greet anybody? I'm asking, it's just for you to think. Does anybody greet anybody? Just let people wander through the door and get lost. And then when they turn up 30 minutes later, they'll be sat on toilet because they couldn't find a way. Speak to them, point them, you know, take their name, bring them, you know, if they're a first time visitor, bring them in, bring them to your pastor, like them. Introduce them to me so I know that they're you. It shows that they're valued, it shows that they're important. You've got to maintain an open posture. Okay, now what do I mean by that? People are people, and people will greet people in different ways. But, and especially with the COVID waffle, I have to say waffle, but anyway, the COVID situation that everyone's scared of, or a lot of people are scared of in the country and across the world. How do you greet people? Do you greet people as smile on your face? Do you greet people shaking their hand? Do you hug people? Or are you standoffish and you just don't want to talk to them? What's your demeanour? How do you present yourself when you're talking to them? Are you like that pastor who's more concerned with everybody else in the room as opposed to greeting the person who's supposed to be speaking to? A lot can be said for making a fuss of people when they walk into church.